Welcome to another edition of In the Winner's Circle. Renee Cairns along with Jennifer Morrison. This edition and every edition brought to you by the HBBA of Ontario. We've got a long weekend coming up, Jen. It is Canada Day on Monday. Unfortunately, no entries yet for the Dominion Day, so we're not really going to be able to touch on that. But there are a lot of other things that we're going to look forward to this weekend. But as per usual, let's close off last weekend with a few things that you noticed on the card for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
That's right. We had another great weekend of racing, and what about the effort by Riding the River? Last year's champion turf male came back with a vengeance, finished well in his first start, and then won the King Edward last year in a blanket finish. Very exciting race over Valentino Beauty. Todd Cable riding for Dominion Bloodstock and Dave Cody. Not bad for a horse that costs $3,500. Yeah. He just keeps on going.
We should all get so lucky.
That's right. Great horse. Jimmy Mack is back. I mean, it's great to see Jimmy Mack. He's having a great comeback this year, as it were. He got injured last year and then had some time off. Jimmy Mack won a couple of races for Lorna Perkins, so shout out to her too for the Unstable. Riding very well, Jimmy Mack, so congratulations to him.
The Mack Attack is back.
The Mack Attack, that's right. And I thought, what a performance by Hurricane Lorraine. This is an Ontario sired filly who stepped up to the non-winners of one other than open category and beat a 2-5 shot named Avi Sense last Sunday. Won by 9 lengths and ran an 80 buyer, her best of her life. For Tequesta Racing, trainer Allison Crook has done a great job with Hurricane Lorraine, a daughter of Weather Warning. She's been a fantastic filly. She might be going to stakes races.
I love the Weather Warnings. I think they really take to this polytrack. He's not here anymore.
No, he went to New Mexico.
Yeah, and I think he was a great addition and left the province way too soon because I think his horses were precocious, fast, love the polytrack, turf.
Yes.
And I thought he was a great addition to the Ontario Sire rank. So we closed the book on last weekend. We've got lots to look forward to this weekend, including a 9-race program on Friday. But Saturday we get into the stake action. We talked about Riding the River, the older horses on the grass. Well, Saturday is all about the 3-year-olds. These are Ontario breds going in the Achievement Stakes. It's a sprint race, and I think this is a pretty interesting tilt. Kitten Candy from the inside post for Bob Tiller, and Langstaff from the outside post for Bob Tiller, a horse that is to this point undefeated, yet he still can't keep a rider.
Oh, well, Luis Contreras is out of town on Saturday.
Yeah.
He's at Churchill Downs, so yes, Jesse Campbell will be his new rider. Hold on to your hats for the Achievement Stakes because this is going to be speed to burn. This is a super duper field of Ontario bred horses. I love this race. I think it's really interesting to see what's going to happen with the very fast Click and Black Hornet hooking up. I suspect that Click might be the fastest of the two, the quickest out of the gate. We're only going 6 furlongs, so these guys better have their hats on, okay, for sure. We're going. Bert's Bar, there was a little bit of talk that he might go in the Queen's Plate, but they decided to keep him sprinting. So you know that Bert's Bar has been prepped specifically for this race in mind. So I think between those 3 horses, you're going to have a good contested pace. 3 of them up there early. Langstaff, as you said, never been beaten. This horse just doesn't want to lose. I mean, he suddenly got up and won the Bold Ruckus Stakes on turf. I don't know how he did it because he didn't look like he was going to win.
Yeah.
But for my money betting, I mean, I like Bert's Bar. I think he's going to sit a nice trip, but I am going to bet on Kitten Candy.
That's the one I like too.
That's right. I mean, he's turning back from 7 furlongs. Now, he's got a bit of a habit, I think. He looked like he was on his way to win his last race over Open Company American Breds, and he sort of hung a little bit there. But he didn't have a very good start. He sort of bobbled at the start, and then he lost a couple of lengths there, made a move wide in the turn, took a short lead, and then sort of hung. But I think turning backs to 6 furlongs, if the track isn't like crazy speed favoring, which I don't think it will be.
And if the race sets up the way it looks like it will on paper.
Well, of course. I mean, we never actually know what happens, and if there's a scratch, then who knows what happens. But I think Kitten Candy is sitting on a big race here.
Me too.
I really think that he can run them down in the stretch. I think it's his time. So Kitten Candy is our pick for the Achievement. We agree.
Agree.
I don't know. That's a little scary.
It's either good or bad. We'll find out at 4:25 on Saturday afternoon.
Right.
But if the race sets up on the track the way it looks like it will on paper, there should be speed to burn, and I think Kitten Candy could be picking up the pieces. You're not going to give me that line again, right, about races not run?
No. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Now we get to the program for Sunday, and we have the 3-year-old fillies with the second jewel of the Triple Tiara. This is the Bison City. It goes as race number 8 on a 10-race program. Interesting that Nipissing, Spring in the Air are both going to be taking on the boys in the Queen's Plate. So they're not in here. And I think other trainers decided to maybe take a shot with some horses because those two top-class fillies weren't going to be here, including maybe a horse like I'm a Kitty Hawk. But I think Original Script is going to be the choice, and we have a new feature here that we will begin on this edition of In the Winner's Circle. It's called 2 Minutes With. And for the first edition of 2 Minutes With, I went and visited with Paul Attard at his barn, and he gave us a few thoughts about his horse, Original Script.
We have Original Script running Sunday in the Bison City Stakes. She ran third in the Oaks a few weeks ago. She ran a pretty good race there. She missed about 8 days of training due to the outbreak of the herpes virus. Our barn was quarantined for those 8 days. Could have been much worse, so we're not complaining. Things were handled properly there. I'm not too concerned with the time that she missed because she is a very fit filly. She's aggressive when she trains, so that shouldn't take too much away from her. She was in Florida for the winter. And ran a couple of good races, so she should be tight for this one, especially with the cut back to a mile 16th. She's a pretty forwardly placed filly when she runs. She doesn't have to be on the lead, but she just seems to find herself there. If she finds a slow pace, she can go in the front end. If it's a fast pace, she can settle a little bit off of it and hopefully carry on. The two fillies that beat her in the Oaks are headed to the plate, so that is hopefully a good reference there. She's, like I said, pretty aggressive filly. She likes to train, and she worked a half mile the other day and galloped out very well, so we're confident going into this race. It's not going to be as tough as the Oaks, but it's definitely not an easy race either. It's going to be some quality fillies in there and good purse on the line, so we're hoping she runs to her potential. I would like to try her on the turf one day. She's bred for it, so it really seems, and the way she trains, she seems like she would take to the turf as well.
Jen, I remember talking to Jesse Campbell, just reiterating a little bit what Paul just said about Original Script. I remember talking to Jesse Campbell in the Woodbine Oaks as they were going up to the gate. I was working for CBC, and I said, does she have to be on the lead? He said, she doesn't have to, but if they want to give me a half and 50 and change, I'll take it. That's not the way it materialized, though. And
it's exactly, you can tell by looking at Original Script, this is a very robust, strong filly. She looks like she really enjoys what she does out there. And, I think it's a super idea that she's running in the Bison City. You're going to get very low odds on her, mind you, but we're going to get a great gauge, too, to see how she does for the Queen's Plate, with Nipissing and Spring in the Air finishing ahead of her in the Oaks. Mm-hmm. That was only her second race of the local season. She had come off a win over older horses, only her second race with Lasix. It's hard to know whether she's actually going to inherit the lead in the Bison City. You have some horses in here stretching out from sprints, like I'm a Kitty Hawk, Big Brown Brookski, and Strut the Course, who's coming in fresh, and Cabo Queen. I have a lot of horses stretching out here. So it's possible that you'll see Original Script. She'll be close, but I think she'll be close to perhaps maybe 24, 48. To me, she looks like, obviously, the horse to beat. I'd be interested in horses that are, on the upward progress as well. Mm-hmm. Big Brown Brookski is a pretty interesting horse. She's bred to go the distance by Big Brown out of a Montbrook mare. The mare actually won quite a bit of money and was a very good horse. An interesting filly for trainer Reed Baker. And Strut the Course had an excuse last time when she was flat in the Lady Angela Stakes. And I know Barb Minchell is hoping that she's had the time off to prepare and hoping that she bounces back to her big win she had in her first start off the layoff. And remember, Strut the Course was second, just barely beaten, half a length by Nipissing in the Princess Elizabeth last year. So I think Strut the Course is the secret horse in this race. And, we got Tyler Pizarro having a pretty big weekend, so I hope I didn't put the jinx on him. But I think Original Script, great information there from Paul about the virus and how she was stuck in jail, as it were, for 8 days. But I would agree with him that she's going to be very strong in here. But Strut the Course is my sneaky horse.
I hope that Big Brown Brooksy can do it. I thought she was very impressive when she won on the grass last time out. I know it was going 6.5, had to deviate course a little bit. But I think, although it's a small field, I think it's very much a quality field. And you're right, we can maybe get a gauge as to how the fillies will do in the Queen's Plate, judging by how some of these horses, especially Original Script, who finished third in behind Nipissing and Spring in the Air in the Woodbine Oaks just 3 weeks ago. Again, Dominion Day Stakes for the older horses, mile and a quarter, goes on Monday. The entries are not out at this point, but just maybe quickly touching on how you envision the Queen's Plate shaping up. We know, again, Nipissing is going, Spring in the Air. I think the Queen's Plate is shaping up to be a pretty good race, as it is every season.
Well, it's T-minus 10 days from Friday to the Queen's Plate. This is our Kentucky Derby, our Epsom Derby. I mean, this is what we're working towards. This is going to be our fun week of festivities, and Woodbine is going all out with the horse hats and horseshoes promotion. It's going to be a super day of racing, and we're looking at about 11 or 12 horses at this moment, and that includes a pair from Sampson Farms, who have won lots of plates. Up with the Birds figures to be the favorite with Eurico da Silva, and they have his race to win. John Velasquez coming in to ride his race to win. Then you have the fillies, as you said, Nipissing and Spring in the Air. We have Dynamic Sky, who won the plate trial by that much over his race to win. We have a pair from Tucci Stables, Midnight Aria and River 7.
And I saw them work this morning.
And what did they...
I think Jesse Campbell was probably on Midnight Area, Darren Fortune on River 7. I think, just judging by the time, I mean, it could be reversed. Jesse Campbell broke off in front of Darren Fortune, and Darren never got to him.
Interesting.
So I just happened to be walking back off the track, and I saw them break off.
I think it's going to be a fantastic race. We don't know how many Mark Cassie's going to run. He was talking about 4. Another one that he might run is Jagger M, and perhaps K-Gun. But we're looking at a field of 11 or 12 right now, and the festivities start soon. So once we get past our long weekend of fun action, it's Canada and on to the Queen's Plate.
Lots to look forward to.
It's going to be a wild couple of weeks.
Yeah, the American Triple Crown is wrapped up, and we're just going to be starting ours on July 7th. Moved back a little bit on the program because we started a little bit later this season. We always end off our edition of In the Winner's Circle with a subject, a trainer, jockey, personality on the backstretch that maybe we can provide you information about, things you don't know about certain people. And today I wanted to know about Roger Lauren, but I went to his son, Rob.
Oh.
Tell me some stuff we don't know about your dad.
Interesting.
He was Montreal born, licensed at 17.
Wow.
And very much considered a ladies' man. I told you just before we started the horses that he trained. Pearl Necklace. She made all kinds of money when you weren't going for that much money and had to race against the boys.
That's right. That's the days of Chris Everett and all those great American mares. I didn't realize that he trained Pearl Necklace.
Number to count.
I
Cavendish.
mean,
all kinds of good horses. And of course, he had the distinction of winning the very first Breeders' Cup race with Chief's Crown. When there were only 7 races at the time, back in 1984, Chief's Crown, probably the horse that most people would associate with Roger Lauren. Had a win just a couple of weeks ago in a dead heat, but a win nonetheless. So he brings horses up from Florida and very much invests in the Ontario Sire program.
He does. He has a mobile 2-year-old running this weekend. So, no, it's fun to see his horses run. And obviously his last name is very famous from Lucien Lauren, his dad. So very interesting stuff. I like to learn about our people out there.
Licensed a long, long time. Rob was saying he doesn't even think that he can get licensed that young right now. He was licensed at an age where now it would be illegal. You wouldn't the rules of racing would just say you are too young to get it done. If you'd like to maybe follow us on Twitter, we've got our addresses up there for you. Just good stuff we want to hear about. Actually, you know what? Send anything. We'll read it. Yeah, perhaps not. We'll read anything. But anyway, there's a look at our Twitter addresses, and this will close off another edition of In the Winner's Circle. Again, kindly sponsored by the HPBA of Ontario. It's a long weekend of racing coming up, and Sunday, the big one, is the Bison City. The favorite, most probably, going to be Original Script, going for the Chiefswood Stables, and Conditioner Politard. Good luck with your selections. Hopefully we helped you out and made some good handicapping choices to get you in the winner's circle.